Hello everyone and welcome to another News Coolum video. So, this is the last time I really want to do a video on this, but there will probably have to be more. But at this point in time, we now have another Chevrolet Bolt EV Fire, and this one is more significant than all of the other Bolt EV Fires up to this point, because this one appears to be a 2020 Bolt EV that we up till now thought was, not subject to these fires, not subject to this fire recall. So, this is big news. Now, I think Sean over at Electrek has already posted something. GM, Chevrolet, they've already published, that they've expanded the recall, which is super fast response time as far as GM is concerned. So kudos to them. And, I think, based on my previous video and the feedback that I got, I think a lot of people here think that I'm somehow being super pro GM or whatever, and I think I need to at least clear the air here in that I need to make a distinction between supporting GM's process for this recall and their strategy for mitigating fires and replacing batteries with approval of GM themselves, right? So I'm not an apologist for GM, but I'm strictly speaking talking about the process and the requirements for, fixing these batteries and recalling them. And I think a lot of people are, they're not really focusing on what needs to happen logistically in order for this to happen. And so I'm really looking just at the pragmatism of the process, right? In terms of whether GM is a good company, whether they have customers' best interests in mind, I don't really want to get into that. I realize that most of these companies are strictly about the bottom line and that, they're there to make a profit for their investors. I'm not in any way misguided in that belief. But at the same time, I think we need to realize that GM is a company that employs a lot of people who are very proud of the work that they do. And, I think we have to understand the fact that there are a lot of engineers, high quality, educated, talented engineers working for GM. GM's EV program is possibly one of the most advanced in the world, at least on par with the likes of Lucid and NIO and Rivian and Tesla, right? So all of these big name EV powerhouses, GM is on par with them in terms of engineering. It's unfortunate, though, in the case of these batteries and these battery fires for the Bolt EV, that they did outsource for the cheapest, basically finished battery that was available to them, which was LG Chem. We know that at the time they were getting these batteries for $145 a kilowatt hour. That's ridiculously cheap. So for them it made sense budget-wise, business partnership-wise, production-wise to partner with LG. And a lot of other automakers have as well. Well, it turns out that these battery fires, it really is LG that's the common denominator. And for better or worse, all of these companies have partnered with them, and something needs to change with their processes. Something needs to change with their equipment, their parts sourcing, whatever it is, because in addition to this most recent Bolt EV fire, we now have a VW ID3 fire. And we thought, again, like the US-made batteries, that the European-made LG cells are somehow different than the Korean and Chinese-made ones, and it turns out that maybe not, right? And so LG really needs to own up to this. And I'm already having people say, oh, well, again, it's the pouch cells versus cylinder cells. Well, if you take LG out of the equation, we've had fewer pouch cell fires than we've had cylinder cell fires in, EVs. So I don't buy that, right? Again, defective cells are defective cells. It doesn't matter their format. And so we really need to make sure that we're focused on the end goal here, which is to limit EV fires. Now, we're probably never going to eliminate them completely, right? Just once you start selling millions and millions of EVs, there are going to be errors, there are going to be problems. But what we do know is that fires in electric vehicles should be orders of magnitude rarer than fires in gas-powered vehicles. So we know that should be the case. And with LG's pouch cells, It's not the case, and that's a problem. And so it needs to be fixed. It needs to be remedied. At this point, GM is basically saying we're just going to be replacing all of these batteries across the board for all years, it sounds like. And now it doesn't necessarily mean the entire battery, but it could, because what's going to happen at some point or some level, they're going to have to vet all of these battery cells on an individual level more thoroughly than they ever have before they package them into a battery pack and then install them into the Bolt EV platform. I still think GM should consider customizing an Ultium battery pack for this, application. I think that they need to maybe have their engineers working on at least an option for an Ultium upgrade, and basically demonstrate that their partnership with LG is capable of producing safe, reliable, consistent battery cells, because they're already planning 4 gigafactories in North America for these LG cells. So I think GM really needs to get out front of this. I think they need to work with LG. And I really think that GM is going to need to reach out across the aisle, not just with LG, but with other automakers, right? Because VW just had a fire. Ford now, they really need to assess their risk with the Mach-E, which is also using European-built LG cells. The Jaguar I-Pace also using European-made LG cells. So they all need to look at how they can collaborate, maybe the software that GM had developed to detect some of these issues. Maybe they can work with VW or the Volkswagen Automotive Group and figure out a solution that works for all of these automakers, for all of these batteries. Basically collaborate to make sure there aren't any more battery fires for anybody. Because, I'm getting tired of talking about this, right? I feel fine with my Bolt EV. I feel safe. I feel like I put it through enough rigorous driving that I know it's safe. But I don't know that every other Bolt EV is safe, and I don't know that owners should feel complacent or feel safe with their Bolt EVs, and I want to know that this fire issue is done. I have more important things to do. I have a lot of exciting things I want to talk about that have nothing to do with battery cell fires. There are chargers I want to review, charging sites I want to review, charging providers I want to review. There's my Ford Ranger electric project that I'm making, good progress on, and I want to get the ball really rolling on that. I want to get that project moving forward, literally as well as figuratively. So yeah, I'm just kind of over it. I'm just going to wait until we get more news, because right now it's going to be easy to get worked up into a fever, just they're doing what they can do to fix this issue. And if you don't believe that, I'm not going to be here to try to convince you of that. I just have faith that it's going to work out, because it has to. And so for now, I'm going to focus on some of the other things. And like I said, if I happen to be one of the lucky golden ticket winners and I get to take my Bolt EV for a full battery replacement, you'll be sure to hear from me about it. Updates on exactly how the integration went, how the charging goes, what capacity, what range, all of that. So I'd love to hear what you think. Are you subject to this recall? If you're a Bolt EV owner, I guess you would be, right? Have you received a letter from them letting you know that there are going to be battery cells to replace? Are you working with your dealership to have that done? Is your dealership even authorized to do that? So, I don't know. Keep me posted. I'd love to hear from people on the ground as to what's going on with their Bolt EV experience, whether they're pursuing a buyback or a trade-in for a different EV. Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And thank you for watching.